Peace and love to the people. We all got power. We all equal. It's your boy Sxmmnz.
It's your boy Dane.
This is Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast, and we have a special guest.
Bang, 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 bang.
But so, special guest today. Allow you to introduce yourself.
What up, everybody? I'm Patrice. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So you
marriage and family. she be talking to people.
Talking.
Hearing all the mess.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he did that, girl.
All the tea.
Let me ask you this: since this is your profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has it changed your view on marriage?
No. Well, I think overall it changed my perception of relationships. Like when you're growing up as a woman, you're just like, if any man does me wrong, I'm out. It don't work like that. You gotta put work into it. So
before we really dive into this,
I know I went deep.
I'm like, he just went on and jumped in the water. I'm like, let's put the toe in.
Stay ready so we can.
But so before we do all that, make sure you go likes and make sure you subscribe and make sure you share the podcast. Follow the page DSTM Podcast on IG.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for everything that we got going.
Yeah, don't forget to check in on Spotify,
YouTube. So yeah, just peep in and spread the message, man. I had actually met Patrice. I participated in the survey she had going on. It's about black men and why they don't go to therapy. What's their thing against therapy? So I went and participated. Like, you know what? I'm like, I don't mind it. Like, if this is for the betterment of the people,
right.
You know. So I went, and I honestly didn't know what she was gonna look like at first. I was like, I thought she was gonna be older. So I was like,
okay, I was about to say,
no, not like that. No, I thought she was gonna be older, so I thought it was gonna be like an uptight type of thing, like
okay, instead of relaxing.
Yeah, so I'm like, she younger.
Okay.
And went through the questions, was like had a good conversation, and then after the questions, or whatever, we just start shooting the shits more about mental health or whatnot. I'm like, and so I was getting her like her input about things and getting her professional opinion about things. I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking, this is good information.
Right.
We need to throw this on the platform. Like, why not divulge all this information for people to come in? Because this is what we did this for.
The most definitely to start a conversation.
Start a conversation and put out information for people that either aren't privy or some of the language go over their heads, and we just happen to understand it, so we can put it in a form where they can digest it, you know. So Don't Shoot the Messenger is all about trying to help empower the people. Of course, black people, but we want to empower all people, you know. So this, I'm pretty sure there are not just black men that suffer from this, that have a negative view on therapy, you know. So yeah, let's dive into the shits. Before we get to that, the Popeye chicken. We gotta talk about the Popeye chicken, and I want to get I want to understand the mentality behind this. So I'm gonna need your professional understanding about this, because there's been a crave going on.
People getting stabbed, beat up.
I saw this one old white lady get slammed.
That was crazy.
She got slammed.
That was slammed. She got slammed hard.
When I seen that, I seen like, I don't know why in my mind, I seen like you remember Sonic, the game? I seen the rain just come out of her. I was like, damn.
Listen, man.
Well, she gonna need an extra man for that one.
We laughing. But this is crazy that people are going to jail over a chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich.
Did you saw the people in Popeyes fighting the employees because one of them was selling it out the back?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, one of them was
niggas was selling it like crack?
Yeah, he was stashing some of the sandwiches and selling them out the back door. You know what I mean? So it was a fight that broke out over that. It reminded me of the Boondocks episode when
the Lufa Burger.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man, how
they're hustling out the back of the job.
I don't know. People want to say it's something in the chicken. I don't think it's something in the chicken. I think it's something in the people.
FOMO.
People are tripping.
FOMO, people are the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
But
that's the part.
Aside of that, like, when you say it's something in the chicken, you don't think yeah and no. Because I'm like, they had to take away the chicken for 3 months or whatever. I'm like, how come if you a chicken spot, you didn't just have the chicken ready? I'm like,
I'll put it like this from a business standpoint, right? When you talk about marketing, what they did when they put that chicken out, that was to see if they can compete with the other chicken spots that have sandwiches, right? So when they seen how crazy it went, what you have to do is you don't want it to get played out, so you take it away, right? And then you bring it back on the market because then it's going to double up again, right? So you're not thinking that you're going to hit the same price point that you made, your revenue point that you made the first time. You know that, okay, the second time I'm gonna get paid, but it may not be like the first time. But in this instance, I think they've made more. You know what I'm saying? I think they've made more money this time because to me it seemed like it's more out of control, it's more crazy, more people waiting in line. But to me, I think their brand is taking a hit off of what's going on.
Because it's crazy because there's fights breaking out, people getting slammed. But
white people,
yeah, I'm like, this got white people at extra bold
over the chicken. Y'all niggas, y'all niggas ain't get it on chicken. What? Oh my goodness!
You gonna go to a chicken spot full of niggas and say we ain't getting no chicken? You must don't want to live. Like
it's almost like watching one of those. You remember like one of the movies, the black movies back in the day, where they like made fun of our community and they did stuff. That's what it looks like to me. You understand what I'm saying? It looks like a spoof of jokes that we have within the community, but it's real. People are really getting beat up and killed and going to like somebody is literally about to go to jail for life over a chicken sandwich.
How do you even explain that? Like
you better go in there and lie.
How you like you can't tell no like. You gotta get like you can't even tell nobody about that because it's like, bro, I'm like if the fight broke out, I'm stabbing you first because you weird.
And the crazy part about it is, I believe that the manager had beckoned the person because he had messed up on their order. So he was like, "Hey, come up." And when he passed somebody, the person said something to him, like the Boondocks, nigga moments. Right? So I guess when the person passed them, the person in line was like, hey, you're not going to cut. Instead of just being like, hey, no, he's fixing my order. It was like they had an exchange and then
you can't just say no, he fixed my order. Like he felt like he was being pressed. Like, hey, fam, like, would you? Like, I'm not feeling this energy.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen the Boondocks,
the Luther Burger,
I'll tell you guys, no, just go watch all the episodes. Go watch all the episodes because.
They got to represent John Witherspoon too.
Yeah, because John Witherspoon, rest in peace. But they really touch on society type issues, and you think that it's a joke until you actually see it. Just like remember they had the rapper who was wearing dresses, and they had Lil Riley wearing purses and everything, right? And then Young Thug came out, and everybody was like,
crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I ain't even put that together.
Yeah, man, you gotta pay attention to it. Y'all go check out the Boondocks, man. The Boondocks is on point, just like how the Simpsons be predicting stuff. The Boondocks is on point too. Yeah.
Okay, so with this chicken crave, what's your professional opinion that's going on here? Let me get your professional opinion. And then your ratchet opinion.
So the psychology behind advertising, I mean, in general, if somebody's gonna hype something up, it's gonna make your taste buds want to go try it. So I'm surprised that the chicken sandwich has made it thus far because that break, usually people are like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
But I think because it kept going on and on and on, people just want to try the sandwich. Now, my ratchet opinion is that the sandwich is better than Chick-fil-A sandwich.
It is.
I don't like Chick-fil-A sandwiches. I like the chicken tenders anyways, but I think that their chicken sandwich is good, but not for me to have to get out the car to go stand in the store because they're not doing drive-thrus for chicken sandwiches. That's what I'm not doing.
Are they not doing drive-thrus for it?
Some of them you have to go inside.
Oh no, man.
That's crazy. I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm solid.
If I gotta do all that, nah, it's not even that serious.
Listen, I drove by Taco Bell one night, and it was 3 cars. And I was like, that's too many cars.
Yeah. God, be
all the way home.
Especially when you hungry.
I said, there's 3 cars. I'm going home.
This ain't gonna work. So I don't want to say, because it's not just black people out here wilding. We just gotta do better.
They want to go on social media and show that they got the chicken sandwich. Like the first thing they do is take a picture of the rapper, like, oh, let's see what the hype is about. It's chicken at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Let me see you go home and make a chicken sandwich and put that on IG.
Listen, no,
Let me see if it look fire.
But you gotta understand, it's like you were saying, everybody wants, it's that sense of I'm a part of the craze, right?
Everybody want to be a part.
Likes. It goes into likes. Oh, I got the chicken sandwich. People want to see this, that, and third. To me, it boils down to fitting in socially.
It is.
And some people they get in the chicken sandwich, and I've actually seen people buy maybe 4 chicken sandwiches in one day.
I'm cool.
Just to put the wrapper on.
They did like 3 or 4 something.
It's almost, you know what it reminds me of? I remember maybe 10, maybe 11 years ago. Remember when Starbucks really started booming? Mm-hmm. And everybody just wanted to have the Starbucks cup.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it's the same thing. Now everybody wants to show that I got this Popeyes packaging.
Is Popeyes? Is Popeyes?
Because it's really not that serious.
It's not.
Is Popeyes the Michael Jordan of chicken sandwiches?
I haven't had it.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I haven't had it.
I think it depends
I like
on what
KFC.
you like, but I think it depends what you like about
I like
chicken.
KFC chicken sandwich.
KFC.
KFC. Yes, KFC. You still wow. You get a Popeyes chicken sandwich and your pinky go up in the air. Who are you?
What's wrong with their mashed potatoes?
No, I'm like, since Popeyes, especially when Popeyes had like the Tuesday special, I'm like, I don't know people that go to KFC no more.
No, they're still. You gotta pick and choose your KFCs.
I'm like, they're not nasty or nothing, but I'm like, I didn't know people still going there.
The little rub that they put on their little chicken sandwich or whatever, like the little hickory smoke one, honey barbecue. It's fire to me. Yeah.
The thing though, because I did a comparison between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes. I was a part of the whole little wave when it first hit.
I was at work watching videos.
I was curious. So what I noticed about the Popeyes, they bread is low key sweet, like it's a Hawaiian roll or something.
And it's crunchy, like Chick-fil-A's crunchy good.
And Chick-fil-A bread was looking all droopy and stuff. I was like, what?
But they don't have seasoning at
It just looked
Chick-fil-A.
drunk.
If you don't have the sauce at Chick-fil-A, it's basic chicken.
Yeah.
But Popeyes is known for the seasoning, so it's gonna taste better. I mean, when I got the sandwich, you know, my mom had bought it for me, and she had bought it hours before I could even eat it. So I put it in the oven, and that's when I knew, I'm like, it tastes good after I put it in the oven. What was it like when it was fresh?
Like, you know, I'm gonna have to go over there.
I'm like, okay, but
oh, now y'all stabbing people? I'm cool.
when they're talking about you gotta get out and go inside, I'm like, it's not that serious.
No.
And to me, fried chicken sandwich is overrated. Give me a grilled chicken with everything on it.
This is weird because I'm like, as crazy as In-N-Out lines be, it don't like.
And it don't change
nothing.
In-N-Out.
I don't know about y'all. In-N-Out's overrated to me. Your mom
Okay, it's Five Guys better than In-N-Out.
Their fries.
The fries are
Cajun, if you get the Cajun seasoning,
because In-N-Out, if you don't eat those in the first 2 minutes, they nasty.
Done. You gotta eat those before you get to the house.
Oh God, you gonna be mad? Like what the fuck? Like, like you gonna be mad? So it's just like, yeah, we sound greedy as hell right now. So
what about Five Guys though? Is Five Guys better than In-N-Out?
No.
I don't eat at Five Guys often.
I just started eating Five Guys, and I like Five Guys. It reminds me of a home, like if the burger you make at home. But In-N-Out to me is better.
Is Fat Burger better than In-N-Out?
Fat Burger's better.
Yeah, Fat Burger.
In-N-Out, like, it's basic as shit to me. I just be looking at the lines. I'm like, what, why?
In-N-Out got it on lock, marketing wise.
I mean, they keep it simple.
Style, though.
They keep it simple.
That's what I'm saying.
Animal
but think
style.
about it. When's the last time you see an In-N-Out commercial?
You just hear it on the radio.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
It's almost word of mouth. Their reputation.
But
I think they're about to lose that though, because they're expanding across states. I was just in Denver not that long ago, and someone was showing me their distribution because they're about to be in Colorado.
Yeah, I think they put one in Las Vegas.
They've always had one in Las Vegas. Okay. There's one in Dallas. And then there's going to be one in Colorado. I heard that the Dallas one tastes different because the manufacturers of their food is different. They can't have the same ones. But the whole California vibe, if you're expanding, like, okay,
it takes away the
exclusiveness. People come to Cali for In-N-Out. So if you can go to
that's
Vegas,
like going to
Denver,
the South
wherever,
for Waffle House.
Ooh, Waffle House.
You know what I mean? If the Waffle House branched out to California and all that
it
stuff,
wouldn't have
it wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Just like Cracker Barrel is not the same out here versus
I still have one there.
Texas.
Yeah.
Or Florida.
In and out Five Guys, they ain't fucking with Rowley's though.
Rowley's is fire. The only Rowley's I done had though is the one in Inglewood.
They got one right here in Rialto now off of Riverside.
I'm gonna mess with it because the one in Inglewood is hard.
they legit right here because they got hands down. They got the best fries.
Yes.
Nobody's fucking with Rowley's fries.
Yeah.
Like it's just no competition.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah, it's right here on Riverside, right next to Spearmint Rhino.
Yes. He found it on accident.
No.
Well, I came outside and I was like, all right.
Because I used to go to the Taco Mexico right next to it.
Yeah.
And I get the tacos joint right there, whatever, and then I put the Rowley's right there, right next to the Spearmint Rhino and the
I'm gonna check it out. The only one I've ever been to is the one in Inglewood, and that one hits every time I go.
It's right there. Shifting to the more important stuff, that was the lighthearted stuff.
Right.
I want to get into where my phone going off like that. I'm checking it. The psychology of Kanye.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. We spoke about Kanye. Was that last episode? Yeah, we spoke about Kanye last episode.
Lights. Yeah.
I'm cooking with a t-shirt on. I'm like, sheesh. I'm like, I gotta sip this. This ain't gonna work. But so what was we talking about in that last episode? I remember.
Okay, the last episode we were talking about Kanye. Kanye spoke on a lot of things previously. He talked about the hip hop culture, black culture. We talked about his little Sunday services and all of that, and I spoke on for a good probably 20 minutes on how I felt. You know what the thing is, the reason why I spoke the way that I spoke is because, like I said, I come from the Christian background, right? So I kind of understand the Christian thinking behind how people are getting behind Kanye West. But I'm also a hip hop head. This is basically, the podcast came out of Hip Hop Conversations. So we're like students of hip hop. We were raised by hip hop and all of that stuff. So when you follow Kanye West's track record, you can see that he has been gimmicky his whole career. He has, from Taylor Swift, hold on, Beyonce had the best video, to him and Amber Rose and how they used to come onto the award. Everything was attention based, right? And so the reason why I spoke the way that I spoke is that I felt that he understands that he has kind of alienated himself from the black community when he said that slavery was a choice, and aligning himself with Donald Trump and wearing the MAGA hat and all of these things. And I feel like
even the Big Boy interview,
he disowned
hip hop.
He kind of disowned hip hop, but he's still using hip hop to create an avenue for himself and his branding and his clothing and shoes and all that. I just felt that he was now using Christianity and religion as an avenue to make money, and because forgiveness is the biggest thing that within Christianity, right? We're not going to judge somebody. We're going to be happy that they come to Christ and this, that, and third. And these are the tactics used that you don't argue back with a person that's like that, right? Because you're like, you don't know where their heart is, this, that, and third. And I feel like he's using that to make people not to kind of accept him and judge him. But if you pay attention to his Sunday services, his message is different in each city that he goes to. When he was in Wyoming and the fan base was basically white, he was talking about that the Democrats have brainwashed black people. That's the new slavery, to think that voting Democrat is the way to go when you need to go Republican. That's the free thinking, right? That's an agenda. But the crowd was all white, so they were in agreement with it, right? When he went to Chicago, he didn't talk about none of that. He did his music, he performed. He understands that I can't alienate certain people. He knew they would shoot the shit out of each other. But the thing is, he knows what he's doing. So that's why I say I feel like he does have a little bit of a mental illness, or something that you could touch on, because that's your profession. I feel like he does have a mental illness, but at the same time, I believe he knows what he's doing.
I agree.
Because just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
He definitely has a mental illness. He has stated that he has bipolar 1 disorder. So if you guys don't know the difference between, there's 2 bipolars, there's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is you're more on the up. So like you feel like you're a superhero, you're just all over the place, you're staying up, you're not sleeping, you're engaging in like behaviors that could like kill you. You may say some things that you may not, mean, and then once you come out of that state, you're kind of back to normal. Then in bipolar 2, you're more depressed. So you're thinking about ending your life. You don't want to leave the house. You're not talking. You're not sleeping. You're not eating. And so you're more on the lower side. Kanye has always been on the higher side of things. So throughout his time in hip hop, we have literally seen him in his manic episodes. Usually when he's in the media, he's in a manic episode. Right. He's talking 9,000. His eye contact with people's off. It looks like he's like, people say possessed, because that's when he feels his best, is when he's in his manic episode.
That's crazy that you say that, because in the last podcast I told him, I said when he was talking to like Big Boy, he never really addressed him like talking to him. It was almost like he was looking past the cameras and throughout the room. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you watch him talk, you could see that he's not really focused on, even with the TMZ interview, he wasn't really on Harvey. He was like beyond the cameras.
It's like he locks into, like he gets into like this transit state where he has to really focus on his thought and getting his point across. And so it's almost like he's disregarding like the people that's directly in front of him.
Yes. Because to him it makes sense, but to us it's like womp 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 womp. You were like, dude, what are you talking about? And he thinks that he's making his point very clear. That's also part of bipolar.
Yeah, because it's like the way he talked, it's like he be saying some real stuff.
Yes.
But the way he set it up and then how he moved from one topic, like it's like, bro, do you read it right?
It's all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think he's rehearsing what he's talking about. It's coming straight from the mind. And if your mind is in a place where it's having its illness heightened, you're not going to make any sense. You're not in the capacity to really understand and divulge what you're saying and making sure that people are understanding it.
Right.
So I think throughout, even with the Taylor Swift thing, I think that was a manic episode. His breakdown of when he was going off on Jay-Z at that last concert he did, which put him in the hospital, I think that was a wrap. Because if you listen to, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel when he was talking about his album, what is it? I Hate Bipolar. It's awesome because it didn't make sense.
When he was trying to do that.
Yeah, he was saying that he remembers at the age of 8 of blacking out. So he's had mental health issues since an adolescent. His mother told him that he will never be on medication. So he grew up thinking that he didn't need medications, that his mental health, his mental illness was like his superpower. That's what made him Kanye. And so when you look at that and then you see his mother pass away, the person that was probably keeping him in line with his mental illness is gone. And so everybody's like, oh, he hasn't been the same since his mother passed. Yeah, but a lot of that has to do with he never treated his mental health. He's always had an issue.
But she was the one that knew how to, because that was her son, how to keep him in check.
She didn't want him on psych medications or anything like that. So literally what we're looking at, because Kanye's what? Is he 40? He has to be in his 40s.
I believe Kanye is 42.
Okay, so Kanye's 42. We see the worst of the worst in mental illnesses that are untreated in your older adult life. So around like the mid-20s, if you haven't been treated, like you're going off the wall. So that makes sense as to when he got to Rockefeller. He's been doing all this, and then we get to see more of his personality. And I do agree with Kanye. When he was, doing the most and we could relate to it, we were all about him. The minute that he switched, we canceled him. And so even though he is going around and having different messages at different churches, this man is really just trying to fit in. He's just trying to fit in. He hates hip hop. He wants to shun us, but he wants to be a part of us so bad. But he feels like we don't support him.
Actually, this I already know what we think. Because he wants to be a part of hip hop, but how much more does he want to be a part of white people culture?
I think he wants to be a part of both.
Do you think he wants to be acknowledged by them more? Or
no, I think he feels like he needs to be acknowledged more by whites because he feels like we let him down. And in ways we do that. And I think that people are like, oh, you need to get on your meds, you're going crazy. Yes, we should keep each other accountable, but the way that you're coming at him about his mental health makes nobody want to talk about their mental health. He, in his mind, believes that he's trying to live his truth and show you guys as a black man what a mental illness looks like. It's not pretty. We always hear people talking about the struggle after they went through the struggle. He's showing you that it's a struggle every day. And so I think that he feels really hurt because he mentioned it. I think it was in the Big Boy interview about how black people are all about him when he said George Bush hates black people, but the minute that he's jumping on Donald Trump, like we're trying to boot him from the community for many reasons. Why I get it, but I think right now he's coming from a hurt place, and so hurt people say hurt things. True. But if we were to accept him back of all his flaws and everything, I don't think he would care as much about white people. But he's just trying to find a group.
I'm gonna agree with it to a point. I believe that if you go back to his interviews about fashion, I believe that his heart is not in really the music anymore. His heart is in fashion. The problem is, I just had a conversation about this the other day. The fashion community is almost like the art community. I took an art appreciation class years ago, right? And we went to a lot of museums. We pay attention to, like, in class, it was like, that was one of the classes you would fall asleep in because it was always a PowerPoint, but it's like the lights were off and you're looking at different art, right? Some art looked like somebody just took paint and threw it up against the canvas, right? And you're like, and the professor's talking about, yes, this person was talking about stress in the world and how the world is getting ready to break, and you saw that in paint droplets, right? So the professor was getting upset because the whole class didn't understand the perspective of the artist that they're explaining. So what I learned from that experience was that art is a close-knit group, right? And once you're let in, like, I believe I could be an artist if I knew somebody. And they co-signed me, and I was throwing art and throwing paint up against stuff, and they could be like, "Oh, this is the new Damon picture, this, that, and the third," and people will be like, "Oh, 300,000." You know what I'm saying?
You could piss on the canvas.
You understand? No, and
like
it was
the sunny side up.
You're joking, but there was actually an artist who put a cross inside of like a box or something like that, and told everybody that he put piss and semen inside of it. And it was like, it was piss, semen, and blood, right? And it was something that, like, the art world went crazy about because it was so abstract or something like that, right?
Abstract. So when shit is weird.
Yeah, they say abstract on it. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is Kanye West was trying to get into a world of fashion, which is the same. The cosign is huge, right? So when his shoes blew up on Nike, he's narcissistic in a way, right? So when his shoes blew up on Nike, he started going and demanding things from them, right? And Nike was like, "You're Kanye West. Like, we say who is who in the industry." So when Kanye West was like, "I'll leave," like I told you on the last podcast, when Kanye West left, they slapped him in the face. He came out with the Red October brand. And this is where he had the shoes that was like all red. This was kind of like the first of his kind, where he had the red sole, the red mid, the red upper, the red laces. Everything was red. When he left, they was like, "Check this out, because we own your idea." They came out with a whole brand of Red October type shoes. And I told you that's where I got the Red October bone posits from. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he went on his interviews, and he was like, he went to Versace, he went to Gucci, he went to all of these people, and they wouldn't just let him in. And then that's when Charlamagne was like, "Why don't you just take your own money and do it?" "I spent $5 million on my own money, bro, and I lost it. I'm broke." You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like his yearning for white people's acceptance is not an actual yearning for white people's acceptance. It's actually a yearning for, give me my credit so that they can allow me in. And if I get with somebody powerful like Donald Trump, who's known across the world as a business person, he has the highest the most important job in the world right now as the president of the United States, and I show you that I'm friends with this man, you're going to be like, "Oh, he has pulled with Donald Trump, let him in." So I don't think that he yearns for white people's attention. I feel like he feels like if they co-sign him enough, he can then go to another platform. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That's how I feel. I just feel that the fans are doing him a disservice. I feel like because he has a mental illness, it's not my place to just blindly support him.
Right.
I feel like I have a responsibility towards
tell him,
him.
like, you messing up, let me help you correct it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you trying to help somebody correct it and they're just like disregarding everything you say, it's like, bro, all right, you know what?
Yeah, that's like
I'll take my hands off.
That's like that's
Right.
like a person, you know, a person that's an alcoholic, and every time you want to meet up with them, you tell them let's go to a bar.
Right.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know they have a problem. I'm not going to support you within your addiction. So right now, with everybody talking about, you know, it's an experience to go see Kanye West in the Sunday service and this, that, and third. If you, there was people that I know that actually went to one of his Sunday services, and they were putting up like little clips on their Instagram. I'm listening to what he's talking about. He's not saying nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's not. If he had a message, then I would be like, you know what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But when you're listening, it sounds like rambling.
It's
You know what I'm
FOMO.
saying?
It's just FOMO. People just want to fit in.
Yeah.
It's fear of missing out.
Yeah.
This is a moment. If I'm not part of the moment, I'm not cool.
Yeah.
And it's like we gotta get out of that mindset and really.
But we owe it to these people. Like, I'm not trying to switch reels or whatever, but DMX, we're DMX fans, right?
Yeah.
And we've always talked about DMX's addiction. And one thing that we always gave DMX credit for is he's never made his addiction cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's always been like, my addiction is my addiction. I'll put
Yeah.
myself in rehab and this and the third. But the DMX fans, they feel for him. And they show him that love. Like, hey, bro, if you need to go sit down, go sit down.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
still gonna be
yeah,
here when you
yeah,
get
yeah.
out. No different than us. As soon as DMX got out of jail, he went on a concert tour. We was there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we understand you. At the end of the day, you're a human being, right?
The difference though is that DMX don't have this narcissist type of like personality.
Yeah.
Like he might have like a big personality, like
Yeah.
the way, but like he don't think he's better than nobody. Like
But I honestly
he would drop a
I-
That's
scripture.
part
or
of
something.
bipolar though, because grandiosity is like the trait of like you feel like you're big and bad and everything.
Wait.
Grandiosity.
Grandiosity.
Yeah, I'm like I don't know what that is. You gotta take
Pretty
it
much
back a
think
little
like
bit.
you're like the big dog.
Okay.
Like ain't nobody gonna be touching me. What I say go.
Right.
So that looks like narcissism, but that is a trait of the disorder.
Okay.
So when he talks, that's why he's like, everybody needs to listen to me. I know what I'm talking
Right.
about. We're looking at him like, don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's.
You did you know that word?
No, man. That's I'm about to use that. I'm gonna go.
No, cause I'm like, am I the only one that was stupid here?
I'm doing homework tonight, and I'm just gonna throw that word in. It don't even matter what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna throw the word in. Grandiosity.
Grandy or Granny?
Let me go ahead and get the spelling.
Yeah.
I didn't know she said Granny Aussie. I was
Yeah.
like,
No, but
who
you know,
grandma?
but the thing is, no, but the thing is that I'm glad that you're here sharing
There's the definition.
sharing your
grandiosity. Because I always hear grandiose.
No.
I never heard grandiosity. That's
Yeah, it's characterized by a sustained view of oneself better than other people.
Yeah.
That sounds like
but
narcissism,
that's
right?
been him since
Day
forever.
one.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. He's been bipolar since
Yeah.
we've known him.
Yes.
We just thought of it like he's being creative. He's being out of the box. He don't give a
Right.
F about what people say.
Right.
Now realizing like, oh,
Yeah, because when
That's
you think,
not it.
because
Yeah.
thinking back, like as you say that now, because I'm like, he always had like when you watch like old interviews or whatever. I want to say it was Cameron. I'm not sure who, but they would say like Kanye, like he would play beats, but he would always try to rap in your ear, like kind of just like.
Yeah.
Kind of, it was just like okay, like
Yeah, and
but it's like he
Dash
does it in a
like
weird
cool
way, like
shit.
you know, but like
Yeah.
like well he makes cool beats and he Jay-Z people like.
I mean,
alright.
I think it was in Rolling Stone. Didn't he refer to himself on the level of Jesus?
Yeah.
So
Called
that's what I'm
himself
saying.
Jesus,
So that's why I'm like, this has been there. People are like, oh, that's narcissism. This is bipolar.
But see, this is why you're good for this conversation, right? Because you are able to put this into perspective that we haven't seen before. We put him underneath a microscope, and it's more like we're pointing a finger at him,
Yes.
like this, that, and the third. But you're able to break down that what you guys have been seeing is him screaming for help.
Untreated. And it's
Yeah.
unless, and I think after he went off on stage about Jay-Z, and that's what led for him to be in the hospital, I think he went on medications, but it sounds like he's not on them. So when you're on when you have bipolar, especially bipolar 1, you need medications.
Yeah.
The one thing we know about medications when it comes to a mood disorder is that nobody wants to be on them because they don't feel like themselves. So if he's on medications, he probably doesn't feel like artistic Kanye.
Yes.
So if he's on his medications, maybe that's why he doesn't want to do music anymore, because it doesn't come to him just as quick. Like my theory about Lil Wayne was everything when he was on lean. When he got off that stuff, everybody felt like his rap was way different.
Same thing with Eminem.
He's not he's not high no more.
Yeah.
So if you're,
Wayne still messing with that?
he said he's not because he's had some
seizures.
I know he been having seizures, but I'm like,
You can tell when he's on lead and when he's not.
Yeah.
The way that he talks, like you can tell he has anxiety. Like he doesn't do as many concerts anymore. He'll cancel on you in a second.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So I don't think he's doing it anymore, and you can just even tell by his flow of rap that it's changed.
Yes.
So I think that could be happening for Kanye.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta understand when if you go back to his mixtapes, when he was mixtape Wayne, his metaphors were stupid.
Yeah.
You listen to him now, and you're like, okay, somebody just paid you. You was
it doesn't sound authentic. It doesn't have that fire anymore. And a lot of that, I believe, came from him using.
Yeah.
He didn't have the anxiety. He felt like he was, everything, and he could go into the booth and kill it.
Yeah.
When you don't have that substance to give you that hype, all your insecurities come out on the track.
Right.
Did you hear that story Fab told about working with Lil Wayne?
No.
It was recently. He was on, I want to say, Drink Champs. He told a story about basically Wayne was like 17 around this time. And Cash Money was booming.
Yeah.
And long story short, they paid him $500,000 or something like that to come drop a verse. And it was like, well, we need 4 bottles of Cristal. And he's like, all right, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it was all on the label budget. It's back when labels had a budget.
Money.
So he had a bottle of Cristal and thinking like, all right, we're going to come record, we're going to shoot the shits.
Yeah.
And bong, we're going to be on.
Yeah.
So they came, talked for like 2 to 5 minutes or whatever. He laid his verse in like 15 minutes and dipped and took all 4 bottles. I was like, hey, that's the most G. I was like, that shit hard. That shit's the most G shit.
Wow. but so
you see the changes.
Yeah.
So if he's on his medication, that's why I think his mother didn't put him on medication. She said, oh, your creativeness is probably in your disease. She's trying to make it like a good thing.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Now, if Cam or whatever's like, nah, you need to get on your medications this week, he may not be feeling his musical self, and so he may be trying to switch to art or whatever.
Yeah.
And he grew up in a church, and I think that's why it's hard for me as a person, not just as a therapist, as a person, to judge if him reconnecting with God is just for hype or if that's for him, because his connectedness was always with the church. He grew up in the church. And so when I see, his clips and stuff of his Sunday service that was all exclusive, I'm like, the tracks sound good. Now, whatever's going on at the forum, I don't know, but
that's what makes it difficult, because it's like who are we to say that his connection with God is a genuine?
And that's not what I'm speaking on.
No, I know that's not what we talking about. I'm just saying people are genuine.
In general, it's hard.
It's hard to say because he's trying to push his God narrative, and then he turns around and do some weird stuff. People like,
he may be trying to reconnect to the place where he felt most connected.
Yeah.
And his mother pushed him into church, so he's trying to just maybe find some presence with his mom or whatever. He's turning it into this.
And I get it, and I tell people, just like even in the last podcast I hope that he can prove me wrong. Right?
I agree.
100%. I hope he can prove me wrong. I'm not one of those people that's like, I just want him to be messed up his whole life and I'm right because you're messed up. I want him to actually get help. I actually want him to prove me wrong. Like if this Sunday service is actually something that's going to change his life, it's going to change his fans' life and all that stuff, I'm all for it. The problem is I can't dismiss your track record.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're going to take that stance, make sure that if you're going to promote yourself as a Christian and do this and do that, follow it throughout your steps of life, not just, the Sunday services.
Yeah. And that's how I feel.
He is bringing people to Christ. I was on TBN the other day. Someone told me that there's droves of people, devoting themselves to the Lord from his Sunday services. So
and that's
even if he has ulterior motives, it's doing something.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's coming from a Christian background. I'm just gonna speak on it. We're always taught to come from that angle, right? Where somebody might have a plan that's worldly, right? But if the benefit of it is going to touch other people, it's going to change somebody else's life, then we're all for it. So I'm all for, if people are actually like, listen, I'm going to church, I'm trying to get my life together, kudos. The issue that I'm having is, like I said, I can't get rid of the track record, and I refer back to the T.I. interview where T.I. said that he went to go meet with him when he first started doing the whole MAGA thing for Donald Trump, and he said, I sat in a room with Kanye West. He said, and when I looked around, everyone that Kanye West had around him was a yes man. He has nobody to tell him when he's tripping, right? Even if you look at his wife, the Kardashians, they're not going to tell him when they're tripping. They're just going to say, oh, Kanye is going to Kanye. That's what they're going to say. He's just going to do him.
But how do we know they ain't saying that behind the scenes and he's just like, well, I'm going to do what I want. I'm a grown man.
And they could, honest to God, they could be doing it. Because I feel
doubt
like
Kim is hype about half the stuff he's doing. I feel like Kim, she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. Whatever she does on Instagram, that's her.
Yeah.
But she's living with this man, with this untreated diagnosis.
I think she got problems too, though.
Well, she has her own.
On the low, yeah.
The whole family is like...
Yeah, his kids are seeing it, and so I'm pretty sure they have sit-downs like, don't do this, don't do that, and at the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants to do. Yeah. But I think that's a problem in the industry in general. I mean, we can talk about R. Kelly, he had a whole bunch of yes men too.
And that's what I'm saying, lock them all up.
Yep.
Lock them all up.
Even
let's talk about R. Kelly.
That unlocks something else, because I'm like... Because this wasn't even on the curriculum, the agenda or whatever. But like, let's have an honest conversation about the mental state of hip hop in general, and the messaging that for years it pushed. A man shouldn't cry, hold your chest up, because a lot of it comes from like street culture. Yeah. So I can't really 100% put the blame on hip hop. Right. But
I'll tell you the truth. For years, when I was younger, I didn't have a father figure, right? So I got into a lot of trouble when I was younger, trying to be in the streets, because the affirmation that I was getting I wasn't getting it from a positive person. I was getting it from negative people. Yeah. Right. And even to this day, I'll tell people like, my family will tell me like, you've been through so many different things, this, that, and the third. And I tell them I don't speak on it because I'm not a victim. You understand what I'm saying? But Josh will tell you, I always use your real name. Sxmmnz will tell you. You know what I'm saying? I read, right? And I tell people a good book is like a mirror. It's going to burn because you're going to see things and it's going to show you yourself. So I happened to be reading a book that was talking about, remember when we was on the law of attraction? We was on that a couple years ago. We was on the kick of the law of attraction. So I was reading a book, and one of the chapters was talking about like mental abuse. And there was things in it that I could relate to. And I was like, wow. So then my eyes started opening up, and then I started to realize that I had this type of toxic thinking about myself. I'm not a victim. So I try to take everything on the chin, but what you're actually doing is internalizing all of your hurt and all of your pains. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it does come from our connection with having to be street, our connection with having to be tough and all of that. It really is what you call it, toxic masculinity. Yes. You know what I mean?
Because like when you look at hip hop, it's just a lot of what it's supposed to be, of course. A lot of times it's three dudes telling their story, things that they've been through, or things that they've seen. Yeah. Of course, there's people that fake the funk and they try to portray a role. Yeah. But it's like, it's one thing to tell a story, and it's different to glorify. You know what I mean? Like, my background from selling and all that stuff like that. I would never glorify selling drugs. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I'd say that on camera, but that's my background. I don't do that now. Wink, wink. I don't do that now. Right. No, I don't. But I'm like, damn, I'm incriminating myself. But it's like, but the thing is, like, you shouldn't glorify yourself when people speak about certain things in a glorifying type of way. Yeah. So that's why I have like this love-hate relationship with hip hop, because I'm like, it's done so much good. It helped raise me. Some of the good like affected me or whatnot. But then I see something like the toxic messages and the messaging about women and
I'll tell you this: when Waka Flocka Flame came out, when he first came out, from having a background, actually
he grew too.
He did, and I'm glad. That's why I said this comment is not even a diss to him because he actually grew because he used to be anti-education. But when he came out, I was bothered by him. Because somebody who comes from a like a street mentality and a very violent type of thinking, you punching is how you solve all your problems, right? And then you get this guy who gets out there, and I remember this young dude I was talking to was like, at the time Lupe Fiasco came out with something, right? And I was telling the dude like, man, listen to Lupe Fiasco. He was like, man, I don't care about none of that smart stuff. I listen to Waka Flocka Flame, and that's when he was like, I go hard in the paint, that type of stuff. And I used to feel some type of way because I was like, I not as deep as he came from the streets, but there's different levels to the streets, right? You have people who looking through the blinds, then you have the cats who jumped off the porch, then you have the ones who jumped off the porch who played in the streets. I was more so the person who jumped off the porch. I was on the curb and I might have had like 1 foot in, you know what I mean? But I never really jumped all the way in. But
the cars coming, bro.
You understand what I'm saying? But I understood the danger, and I always respect the rules of the streets, right? And what he was promoting, a lot of cats who didn't come from that was like, I'm with whatever he's saying, but they don't understand the post-traumatic syndrome that comes with being in the streets. I tell my younger relatives and all of that when they were younger, and I was like getting away from that. I used to tell them that there's some things that I can't reverse that's inside of me, right? There's some things that I can't stop seeing. Like to this day, I'm not active in any type of form, but when I'm in the streets, I look at shoelaces, I look at hats, I look at colors, all of that stuff. And there's some people who live their life normal, walking through a mall, walking through a store, they don't see any of that. When I walk through a mall and I walk through a store, I'm minding my business, I'm not on nothing. But I can see somebody with a hat on, and that color scheme is too close to something, and I'll say, oh, he from this neighborhood, or he from that neighborhood.
The thing about that though, it's not even if you didn't even participate in that activity. It's just that for survival.
Yes, you gotta know.
You gotta know, like, as a black man.
Listen,
because if you ain't paying attention, I remember, like, I think I want to say I was 19 or so, and I was. This is when I was in a relationship with this chick in LA, and I was at some liquor store, and these two dudes, they was like off to the side or whatever. They didn't know that I was listening. But I heard them. One of the dudes like, hey, should we bang on? Like, what? I'm like, cause I was wearing the Dub Zero, the Jordans, the Dub Zero. They came out with the blue joints. And I never game banging nothing like that. So I'm like, I'm just wearing because like that was cool. You know what I mean? That was in. So I'm like, I hear him talking, and the other dude's like, nah, like we ain't on that right now. Like, but it's like, you have to, like, as a black man, like, being around gang banging and shit like that, you have to pay attention to your environment because regardless if you want to or not, like, somebody's gonna test you.
It's crazy because I find myself from between Rialto and LA. If somebody's with me and I know they don't know, I feel like it's my obligation to let them know where they're at. Like if I'm passing through the fives, I'll be like, that's the fives. If I'm over here in the no loves, that's the no loves. If I'm in LA and I'm driving, I'll be like, you in the 30s, you in the 40s. Oh, this is the 60s. Okay, we in Inglewood. This is the Inglewood families. This is what, like, it's sad that I have that.
I was in Inglewood when that happened too.
You understand what I'm saying? It's sad that I have that thinking, but what people don't understand is the culture that you come from is a very toxic culture, and a lot of times we don't speak on the post-traumatic syndromes and things that we have. Like, I've seen guys who I know were like tough, right? And I've seen them beat people up. I've seen them be like, oh, everybody love them. I've gone to bed and waking up the next day to find out that cats that I know killed him. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about, I'm 12, 13. The cats that killed him was 12, 13. These guys go to jail for life. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that for some people, for somebody listening, they're gonna be like, I don't know anybody who's in jail. I don't know anybody who went to jail for life. I remember when I first moved out here and I was living in San Bernardino, I had a step cousin. I was with him like 3-4 days before Halloween. I came home from school. He's on the TV for murdering people.
Crazy.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that these are the things that you suppress.
Mm-hmm.
And you just chalk it up as that's just life.
Yeah,
that's
like,
just what it is. But it's not normal.
It's not
and
normal.
And it affects you. You know what I'm saying?
Seeing somebody die before your eyes.
Yeah.
And like we chalk it as like that's another day in the hood.
Yeah.
Like, but nah, bro, that's not.
It's not.
You should
normal.
not be
It's
exposed
not
to that
normal.
type of stuff.
It's not
even
normal.
if you want to relate it to people that go to war for their countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see all those dead bodies.
Yeah.
And you expect them to come back and be a normal family
It's
man?
not, man. I remember,
We're not designed to see.
Even coming
stuff.
out of prison.
Yeah,
that too.
I remember telling my aunt, man. They were talking about how they saw somebody like get beat up in the streets, right? Like this person got beat up bad. And I told my aunt, I was like, "What? Like, why y'all get, like? What's the problem?" And she was like, "What you mean?" I told her, this is exactly the words that I said. I told her, I said, I'm so desensitized to that. If I see somebody getting beat up, I'm like, he must have did something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or he got caught slipping. He shouldn't have been over here or something like that. But when you look at it, it's wrong. Like that, we're not supposed. We shouldn't have these.
We shouldn't be desensitized. Because like even with all the people that's dying from police violence.
Yeah.
And it's
We're
like you hear,
desensitized to that.
yeah, like it's like damn another one.
Yeah.
And then we going about that day.
Go about a day.
You know
Like the
what I mean?
school shooting that happened. Remember, I told you I
That's
used to
crazy.
live in the valley, right?
That's crazy.
When I lived in the valley, that was
an
the
Asian kid too.
That was the Rivals High School.
Mhm.
That when I lived in the valley, that we used to play like the basketball games and football games with,
Mhm.
right? So I still follow some people on Facebook, and they're like panicking, like, "Oh my God, this, that, and the third." And I was working out at the gym last night, and I remember like, damn, it was like somebody's kid went to to school today and died. But I'm trying to force myself to feel some type of way. But I feel so desensitized because every time we turn on the TV, there's a mass shooting.
That's why I don't watch TV now.
You know what I mean?
I limit my usage of social media now because I'm like, every time you turn it on, some cop shot somebody, some kid shooting up some shit.
So the question I have for you is, as a black male who is somewhat aware of the traumas that they have, what do you have for what can they do to kind of better themselves?
I think acknowledging the trauma. I think a lot of times when, like we were saying with Waka Flocka, he was anti-education and saying this and this and that, it's because they're trying to make it seem like it's okay. So if I keep promoting it that it's okay, I'm giving myself the platform to say that it's okay for myself. I think in the black community in general, we do horrible with trauma. I think we come out the womb hearing about, okay, you black, so life is hard. Suck it up. There's nothing I can do about it. Your ancestors went through worse, so quit your complaining.
You know what's crazy? My mom said it to me last night.
She said that?
I was talking to her about mental abuse, right? And I've gotten to the point where me and my mom has had a rocky relationship, right? Love her to death. I'm just strong because of her, right? But there's been things that, as I gotten older, I realized like my issues done came from you, right?
Yes.
But then when I look at it, I said, but your issues done came from your mom.
Yes.
And her issues came from her mom. You understand what I'm saying? And my mom was like, well, blame it on slavery. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, I can't 100% blame it on my mother.
Absolutely.
It's just like I said. That's why I tell you guys, read. 15 minutes a day, you'll be 15 minutes smarter. You don't have to read a whole book in one day, but read. It'll help you. I learned that mediocre thinking can be handed down through generations.
Definitely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because if it's told to you in a sense of this is like a principle to live by.
This is survival.
This is
It's a survival.
You're gonna live by it. You only know what you know.
And that's the thing. All of the women in my family are in the basically in the medical field, right? But they went into the medical field because they were taught that you'll always have a job.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? you'll always have a job. This is what you do. My mom used to tell us all the time, if you get C's, as long as you pass, as long as you graduate, this is fine. So you remember me in high school, me and you both was in economics, like we just trying to figure out how to get through.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I felt the shit.
And yeah, shoot,
I never had
what
a
I'm saying? So yeah, no, neither one of us. So as I got older, I used to hate school, right? I used to hate it with a passion. Because I always looked at it from a mediocre, like just get by, right? Then you get into college and that thinking of just get by, it's going to make you fail. Yeah. Because there's a part that you have to do when you go to college. So like I said, I dropped out. You know, the people who follow us know that I dropped out for about 7 years, right? And then when I went back to school with a different mentality, I've always been an honor student. Never in my life have I been an honor student. You understand what I'm saying? I've always been to the point where I'm like, I just want to be eligible to play sports.
Yes.
Play football in high school. I need to just be eligible. You understand what I'm saying? Then I got to the point where I realized that it's effort. If I shoot for an A, even if I fail, I get a B. I've never gotten anything lower than a B because I've always shot for an A. And I told my family, I read a book and it said that, a mediocre thinking can be handed down. And I realized that mediocre thinking was something that was passed down through my family.
It's just enough just to get by.
Yeah, and for the people viewing or whatever, you got to understand, when you aim high, people say it all sounds like a cliche. You aim high, you aim for the stars, you land on the moon. Yeah. It's 100% the truth. You can't fail when you aim high. When your standards is high, you're not going to fail.
Because it's like, if you shoot for $1 million, you trying to make $1 million.
Yeah.
And you stop at 500,000, are you gonna be mad?
I ain't mad.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not mad.
So it's like, if you gotta aim high, and the problem is, as Les Brown says, it's not that we shoot high and we miss, it's that we shoot low and we hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if your perspective is not like up here from the get go, you already losing.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta think like you kind of. That's why like. With Kanye, I get him, but at the same time, it's like, all right, you're doing too much. You kind of have to think this high of yourself. Yeah, well, like you the baddest motherfucker out here. Like Tyson, like when you go out on these rings, like back in the day, like, like I'm the baddest motherfucker. Nobody can beat me. Like it's these mantras he'll tell himself, just to hype himself up. But he was really scary inside. Yeah, but it's like you gotta face your fear.
But the 100%. What's the little acronym that you use for fear?
Fear. False evidence appearing real.
That's what a lot of things are. I remember I used to fail classes based off of the name of the class. Statistics.
Because your mind already goes to,
it's already shit.
That's already hard.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try it.
Exactly.
That is not my strong suit.
Trigonometry.
No. Nigga, no.
Listen, I'm a business major. I'm a kid that went to Rialto High School. And if anybody knows anything about Rialto High School, our senior year, I believe that half of our class that turned 18 dropped out.
I was going, brother.
I know. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the guys that was in my classes, when they turned 18, I never saw them again. Right? And I graduated from there by just luck. I wasn't supposed to graduate. I had to go sit on one of my instructor's desk and beg them the day of the graduation to give me a seat so I could walk. Right? Fast forward 15 years since we've been in high school.
It's old now.
Yeah, about 15 years since we've been in high school. I'm working on my master's. I'm working on my master's degree, right?
12.
So
13.
what that shows you is, you're not the box that you put yourself into.
You could always write your own story.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter about what the last chapter says.
Yeah.
It's about what you're doing on this page right now.
Yeah.
So every day that you wake up, you have to put that mindset in. Is like, what can I do for today? Because tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the past, what happened in the past, it happened.
Yeah.
But what could you make for today? You gotta live for today.
Yeah.
So it's like if you was a felon student in the past, and then now you in honors.
Yeah.
it's like, what does that say about you? It says a lot of growth.
It says a lot.
And it's like, all that matters is, two things is for sure. When you're born and you die.
Mm-hmm.
You were born and you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you going to do in between that hyphen?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what is your story? What is it going to tell?
Yeah.
Like, how many lives did you impact before you left here? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
that's dope.
by the time you leave here, people could reminisce like, yo, like, people's going to be talking about Nipsey forever.
Yeah.
Because not by, it's like,
Talk about him more dead than alive.
It sucks that it's like that, but the thing is, it's like, now, because like, when that death is next to it, it's like, damn, I'm not gonna see that person no more. Like I at least think about Nipsey at least like once or twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Because it's just like, damn, like what can I do for my people, blah blah blah. Because I'm like, I seen what he was trying to do. I see the vision.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can I uplift my people to do more? And it's like, it all starts from, like you said, it was a mindset that you had to switch to want to go to school. Before it was like, I hated school. Now it's like, shit, I know
I still hate it.
but the thing is, like,
I know
but the effort level is different.
Yeah.
So it all starts in the mind. So it all starts with the mental health.
Yeah.
And a lot of times from the get-go, we have mental health issues.
Yeah.
And that goes back to trauma. Your trauma is part of your life.
Yeah.
You can't be responsible for the trauma that has impeded on your life. What you can do is heal from it.
Yeah.
And so, even all the stuff that you're talking about is PTSD. You don't have to live with that PTSD.
Right.
There are going to be parts of it, like whatever you've gone through, we can't forever erase it. It's going to be part of just who you are.
Yeah.
But you know, looking at color schemes and all that stuff, there's parts of therapy that can help that not be so impactful in your life. It's always going to be there, but it's not your everyday.
Right.
And I think that's what people have to understand, is that your trauma can be with you, but it doesn't have to be your circumstance.
Right. Exactly.
There's healing for everybody.
Right.
Okay, touching on that, so we can keep things flowing. The whole thing about black men not trusting therapy, and disregarding it, a lot of men in general, pretty much too. But with the black experience, especially with all the trauma that we've been through and everything for generations, for some reason, we look at therapy as like, I ain't about to talk to them. They don't even know my business, or like, that's weak. Like I got thug it out or tough it out, whatever the case may be. I met you through the study of trying to unravel this puzzle. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about therapy. I think people think therapy is for crazy people. I think people think therapy is just talking on a couch to a stranger and they're just going to nod their head. Now, I'm not saying there aren't therapists like that. There are therapists that can do better. But I think the issue with men in general with therapy is that they don't want to say it out loud because it makes it real. If I talk to you about, like, I want to cry, my whole manhood just went out the door.
I'm going to tell you the truth. We're going to keep it real on this one, because it might help somebody else, right? Your life is not your own. Your life is to help somebody else. I dealt with severe rage and anger issues, right? And I know, and this is how I know that I've been able to grow through education and everything. When I was a child, I have a great memory. When I was a child, I remember being, I don't know what part of LA I was in with my dad, but he had bought me a remote control car, right? And we was playing with the remote control car, and then we started throwing the ball. And I've always been like, I don't need no help. I can do it myself, right? So my dad was like, man, it's okay to get, if you need some help, this and that. So I couldn't throw the ball the way I wanted to, and I started crying. And he was like, man, you cry like a girl. You always crying. Cut out all that crying. And I remember from that day on, I every time I wanted to cry, I would hear my father say, you cry like a girl. And I remember being in elementary school, and it just clicked one day. And instead of crying, I would get angry. And it went from being angry to being violent. And that's what kind of pushed me towards the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because I would do things, and then that's when you got, like, you know, the older cats, oh yeah, young brother, woo woo. And I realized that, you know, as I got older, that the thing that was going to take me out was my pride of being vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So pay attention.
That's what I'm working on right now. Like in my latter years, being more vulnerable, because I'm like, I always just have that. It's like ain't no crying or just like no emotion type shit. But it's okay to let that out, because it's like the more you bottle it up, eventually that bottle gonna bust.
It's gonna bust. You don't understand how many times it done bust on me, and it makes you make bad decisions, and then you feel worse after those bad decisions.
Right, because that's not what you wanted to do in the first place. I mean, anger in general is a secondary emotion, so it's speaking for the emotions or feelings or thoughts that you have that you don't want to say. You just want to fight. So 9 times out of 10 when you're angry, it's because you're frustrated, embarrassed, disappointed, confused, and so you're not going to be like, oh, I'm so disappointed, or you hurt my feelings. I'm just going to attack you.
I'm going to tear your ass up.
And get nothing resolved, and then you got to clean up the mess, and then you're like, what did I do this in the first place? Because you weren't able to express how you really felt. Period. And so I think that's what men suffer with. And I mean, my practice, in my private practice, my practice is pretty much, I think right now, 85% black men. So when they're coming to me, it's because they don't have another choice. Like they're like, if I don't come see you, I don't know what's going to happen. It shouldn't get to that place. This is where the support comes in. And even when I was surveying you, and I was like, do you and your friends even talk about, like, when they're having issues, like, you should go talk to somebody about it? And even when I asked you and everybody else that I've been surveying, they're like, no, we don't have those conversations.
Like, it's not a natural conversation that comes up, like, how's your mental health? Like, what do you think that, like,
or like, that's the most
we do is, like, when I talk to them, like, we talk about intellectuals type stuff, reading books and stuff, but as far as mental health,
talk about the things that bother us. Even like I don't know if you know, his car blew up. He was almost in his car when it blew up recently.
Oh my gosh.
You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't even know how to, like, I was like, yeah, dog, you gonna be good. You understand what I'm saying?
And be like, are you okay?
No, but the thing is, it's because that tugs on the emotional string.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna sit there and be crying in front of you like, bro, man, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So what you're saying is the truth, because I could see he was shook. But I didn't know how to be like, because I'm shook for him. When listen, I was at work, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, oh, this is a cover for like a beat or some music he was doing, right? And then I'm reading his caption, and I'm like, click, I turned off the phone.
Because it made you feel a certain type of way.
I said, his car blew up, and he was in it? Like, it blew down, but if it would have blew inward, I'm saying rest in peace to my friend.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
The fucked up part about that, because when I went through that, this was back in May. When I went through that, my mindset wasn't that I almost died.
Right.
My mindset is like, damn, I lost my fucking car. I gotta get another car. I got a car note. But it's like, that's how, like, I'm not like so tied into my emotions like the next person probably might be, because I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get around my kids. I gotta take my kids to school. I'm thinking about everything. About like, nigga, you almost just died.
That's what I was like. I was like, damn.
But it's like when people start saying it, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I should.
But what you say makes sense, because I didn't have that vulnerable conversation, even though I felt that.
Yeah.
And I think people feel like, well, men in particular think vulnerability means like, I need a hug and I need to cry. Yeah, that could be vulnerability, but it could just be like, I'm struggling. And I know that I'm gonna be okay, but I just want you to sit with me and just be okay that I'm not okay right now. And that's what most men are looking for. They feel like they have to be this, strong one for their family, their girlfriends, whatever the case may be. But in reality is, you're gonna get a lot farther if you just be like, yo, I know tomorrow I'm gonna be okay, but I just need you to sit here with me really quickly, because I ain't okay right now. Or like, dog, that you almost died. Like, I don't know what I would do without you. Like, I think there's a meme going around on social media talking about, when you see a brother in the street, don't meme on him. Say hi, but that's females too. It's just like we're naturally defensive. With outsiders, with us, because we feel like everybody's against us.
That's interesting.
And that's crazy.
The other day I had to stop by 7-Eleven, and it was another black dude. He was like walking away from him, whatever. I'm over walking towards him, like along the side. And I gave him a hand. I was like, "What's up? Like, what's up, King? Blah blah blah." And then he passed, and they was like, "Hey, like, you know where anybody that's renting a room? I'm like, nah. I'm like, a hotel, motel? Like, nah, like private.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I don't know. And then left it at that. And they was like, hey, like, we gotta do better for our people. Like, he just started having a conversation.
Yeah.
And then, like, within that conversation, we spoke about so much about economics and how we can do better in the mental health, religion, and it was just like, I didn't know him from nothing.
Yeah.
But it was just like, we can all just take the time, like, to build. Like, it don't have to be that mean mug and it's just like what set you from and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could just be like, what's up, King? Like, you good?
Yeah.
Alright, you know what I'm saying? To keep it moving or shoot the shits and build. Like, you never know who you want to meet, who you want to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, it might be somebody that can help you or you can help them, whatever the case may be. But it's like, we don't build enough. It's all just about tearing down. It's like, I see you coming up and now I'm throwing hate at you and envy and jealousy. And it's just like, we got to build more instead of destroying. That's why we can't get ahead. Because we never on the same
page.
On the same page. We all trying to just work. I'm trying to work about me and mine.
Yeah, we don't want to connect because that's too serious. That's too vulnerable.
Yeah.
If I just get you for what I need, we're good.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said it like that. Even just connecting and opening yourself up is a form of vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like how I just had an interaction with him.
Yeah.
Just I let my guard down and just like, what's up, brother? Like, and just build with him for a second. Like, I don't know what he may have been going through, but that conversation probably
his day.
You know what I'm saying? It probably like put some hope in him or whatever the case may be. But it's just like sometimes like we can't be so defensive.
Yeah,
like, let your guard down, and we just naturally like that because of the shit that we've been through for generations.
And that's what's remotely killing us. All this defensiveness is taking over our physical health. Like I had wrote an article on Medium about the suicide method that we don't talk about in the black community, and that's addiction in black men. Men are mixing pills, alcohol. They don't care how much. If they wake up, cool. If they don't, they don't. That's suicide.
Yeah.
So you got men that are killing themselves that way, and you got women that are dying by physical health, diabetes, heart attack, breast cancer. We're all keeping in this stuff that we don't have to. Yes, our ancestor did so much for us, but this road is hard.
Yes.
Okay, and it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at. We have made it a goal in our life to just walk around not being okay and nobody cares. We don't give people an opportunity to care.
Yeah.
But then when people do open up, we shun them.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, with Kanye, yes, he's being reckless out here. He needs to be more responsible for what he says and take the consequences. And we don't want to rock with you because you said some foul stuff. Take it. But at the end of the day, this is what vulnerability looks like in a mental disorder.
Yes.
And we ain't comfortable. But we're comfortable saying mental health is real when somebody dies by suicide. That's crazy to me. I'm like, why can't we say that before they got to that place?
Because it's easier to talk about it after the fact.
It's so much easier. There's an example that I use in speeches that I do throughout the country. There's I use the shade room. I love the shade room, but I don't like the shade room. So there's one that is Sxmmnz Bow Wow, where he's like, I feel like jumping off a balcony, and the comments are just like, well, do it. What you waiting for? We sick of you talking about this and that. Just do it. You ain't gonna do nothing. But if he was to jump, what would be the next post? Oh my gosh, mental health is real. Yeah. Reach out to your loved ones.
The internet is so unforgiving. It don't give a fuck about your feelings, your thoughts.
It don't.
Nothing.
But then you got Big Sean, who wrote Single Again and has been saying that he has anxiety and depression, is working on it, and everybody's commending him because they didn't see his struggle. He's talking about making it through the struggle. Yeah. We're not okay with seeing and hearing about the struggle. Right. We want to hear you talk about it after you made it through the storm. Right. Bow Wow is going through the storm and we just drowning him.
Yeah, that's the thing too, like with social media, is that a lot of times, like especially with Instagram, people is posting their highlights of their life, the good parts. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the fuck that person's going through, but right now you trying to emulate them. Like, damn, they always traveling, they always going to different countries, blah 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 blah, and you have some type of envy or whatever, or admiration, whatever the case may be. So you feeling down about your situation, like, man, I ain't even got a car right now, blah blah blah. It's like the social media, like, don't let that be the prime factor of your life and what defines your happiness.
No,
Like
your success level.
Yeah, it can't define anything about your life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, people are doing shit for the hype.
Yeah.
And it don't be like that for
It
real.
don't be like that. Half the people that are living life, they're coming out having seizures and going to drug rehab and wanting to quit music and entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not like that. But we gotta be okay with supporting each other through the storm. We're not there, and that's why nobody wants to talk about it.
Right.
Because the minute that they do, they're gonna throw it back in your face. Like, for instance, I've been reached out to by a few networks to do some therapy, like on reality shows. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, I don't want to do that because if they act in a mess, they're gonna be talking about what kind of therapist are you? Your person is over here doing the most. Yes, and so it's like even just that. Like if somebody says like, oh, I have depression or whatever, the minute that you keep acting, you need to go take your meds. You need to go see a therapist. Now you're using therapy and medications as far as like it's like a punishment.
Yeah.
Or like you so bad, like that's what's gonna fix you.
Yeah.
That's a whole stigma right there.
Yeah.
We don't even understand that the things that come out of our mouth is a stigma.
Yeah.
That's real.
And we wonder why we don't talk about it. And then we wanna, you know, try to help each other when we're already gone. That's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, right. Real talk. How long has it been? Because we've been shooting this shit for a long time.
It's been a minute. It's good though.
It's been an hour or more.
It's good. It's probably been more. Yeah, I mean,
Shit, it's
I've
a lot of building going on right
It's
here.
good information, you know.
No, because I'm like, should we keep on going or y'all want to?
Oh,
Cause I know you got homework.
I got homework. Let's get one more. You got one more topic that you wanna throw out there? Cause I'm over here sweating.
Nah, I don't got no topic. That was like the whole thing.
No,
mental health with. How do you? How can I put this?
I want to get into the relationship parts.
Okay, yeah, let's go back to. Let's go back
to the relationship part.
Hold up.
Right? For people looking to get into marriage, right? I'm more. Listen, I'm more of the traditional, like, you know, go get married, this, that, and third. My brother is more so of it's like it's a contract and it's.
Hey, man, it is.
You know what I'm saying? So what kind of advice would you give somebody looking to make that leap into marriage?
Well, why would you want to get married? Are we getting married because that's what we've been conditioned to do? Are we getting married because you feel more secure that that's like, if you marry me, that means you're mine forever? Like, what's the purpose? A lot of people are just getting married because that's what society says, and that's what religion says. God did say you're supposed to get married. But we're sinning all over the place, so I mean, that's a wrap. So what's the point of getting married? Is it a business transaction? Are we getting married to have an open marriage? Like, what we doing? So if you don't know why you're getting married, don't do it.
Yeah, that's first of all.
Or if you're trying to secure, like, you're going to be mine forever, a piece of paper, a ring, that's not where the commitment lies. It lies between
that's
two people.
That's what I be trying to tell people.
It lies between two people. So if you thinking that marriage is going to fix the infidelities and all that stuff, no, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. You're supposed to get married because you're trying to be a union, be as one, build together. You don't see nobody else doing, you don't want to do that with anybody else, then get married. But I think people get married for all the wrong reasons.
But to touch on, because the question that you asked in the beginning about how, like, because I know it has to be very interesting from that perspective about relationships and marriage. It's like, in your field of work, you have a lot of these conversations with people about the relationships and whatnot, and you said it doesn't deter you from, like, pursuing one or whatever the case may be. You might be in one, I don't know, but it makes you look at things in a different light. Elaborate more about that.
I think, like, growing up, we always think of, like, cheating as, like, you just want to go mess with somebody else, you think I'm unattractive, whatever the case may be. But there's so many layers to infidelity that's not always a deal breaker in a relationship. And so I think that changed my perception on what infidelity is. It can be a midlife crisis. It can be that there was no connection. There just could be a lapse in judgment. It doesn't mean that they're always going to do it. But what I don't think people understand is that being in a marriage, there are going to be times where you don't like each other, you're not attracted to each other, you're going to fall into a law where you're not maybe having sex anymore. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be together. This is part of the change of life. And a lot of people can't stand that. And that's why they don't make it. Or they're getting married because they have kids together. Well, we would all have the same last name.
Don't do that.
That doesn't work. Your kids are now seeing what a messed up marriage looks like. Your kids are going to be more appreciative if you just get a divorce. I think that it puts in perspective of me how much hard work marriage is, and that's why it should just be to one person when you're ready. But if you're going to be immature about stuff like, oh, well, you don't do this for me and you don't do that for me, or you're getting married in the hopes of that what you see as a potential is going to come into fruition, if you're not accepting them of who they are now, but you have this thing of like, I know what they can be. No, boo, that's what you want your man to be. That's not who the man you're dating or the woman you're dating. So you're not going to get that with the ring.
That's I think that's the biggest mistake of a lot of people. They marry based off of potential.
Yes, I see the potential.
I can see this person
what do you
doing
see
blah,
now?
blah, blah.
Yes, what do you see
I
now?
tell people all the time, if you have an issue with a person, when you get to that altar, that issue doesn't change unless you address it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So after that, you seem like a crazy person for trying to address it. Once you've said, I do, this person has all these problems.
And now you got to pay to break up.
And I think it's a desperation too. I think it's a desperation. People want to get married because they don't want to be lonely.
That too.
But they spending thousands of dollars not communicating with each other, but looking all happy in photos.
But the weird thing though, like, and this is more so of a woman thing that I encountered, is that some women, they have like these weird like date limits, like I need to be married by 30.
Yes.
You want to know what's crazy though? I would keep it 100. Men do that too.
I never heard men to do that.
Listen, I used to listen when I was younger, and you know what? And this might be because I was raised by women, right? I put a limit on everything. I used to be like, in 6 months, if this is what it is, then this is where the relationship is at. At a year, if this is what it is, then this is where the relationship is at. So I put limits on it. Then I got older and realized that a relationship for me is day to day.
Yeah. It's a day-to-day process. You got to work on it every day.
Women do have a limit because y'all slow sometimes. Like,
true.
Okay. So if sometimes with men, if they comfortable, why do anything wrong? We good, we comfortable.
Yeah, we have
8 years, but the goal was to get married. Or you gotta realize that for women, our biological, I mean, if you at 36, if you're trying to get pregnant, they already call your pregnancy geriatric. Like, how does a woman feel saying, I got a geriatric pregnancy? No, unfortunately, our bodies don't work like y'all's. Like, we are on a time frame. But unfortunately, people get too comfortable. So if you're giving everything and it feels like a marriage, well, it already feels that way. Why we gotta do that? So yeah, women.
I mean, why?
Or women are trying to beat their friends or get like their friends because their friends are already married. They feel like they're slow. But I think people have to realize what works for them. Marriage does not work for everybody. Monogamy does not work for everybody. Open relationships may work better for people. So instead of you putting yourself in a box of what other people around you are doing or what you feel like you should be doing, you really just need to figure out what you want. Because that's when you're going to find your partner. Is what you want, that's what you're going to attract. If you're trying to do something else. Because
what I noticed, like, from my just analyzing the situation, what people is just like, if you try to put that time frame, like I'm going to be married by 30 or 25, whatever the case may be, you gonna fuck around and marry the wrong person.
Yes. There's a lot of marriages.
There's a lot. I had a homeboy that was miserable.
Yeah,
it's like for whatever reason he was locked into that one person and she was treating him crazy. And I told him, I said, that ain't the one. But his fear of her being with somebody else and falling in love made him go and marry the individual.
Sounds like he had a soul tie to her. Soul ties will get you in trouble. But yeah, a lot of people get married out of desperation, or they feel like it's gonna get better, or they don't want to start over. A lot of people don't want to start. They don't want to start over. So if you have a conversation with whoever you're dating, like, look, I'm looking to get married by 35. Is that something you're interested in? Like, oh, nah. Don't be like, okay, well, I'm gonna change their mind. They just told you no, so don't even try it because
that'd be the problem.
You
people
may not make it at 35. Yeah, like, oh, I can change his mind. I can mold him into the man I want to be.
Punana, like,
yeah,
think that's gonna change?
It's not gonna change. It'll make it better for a little bit, but like the overall goal, you know. I mean, people come from a range of like, I mean, I have people that have come to me for therapy because during Netflix and chill, they're supposed to be watching the same show, and then somebody goes off and finishes the show without them. There's like a distrust there. Netflix holds a lot of weight in marriages.
People really complaining?
Yeah, like if you guys are watching a show together and you start watching more episodes, that's your bonding time. You can't do that. So we got that to infidelity to money to.
If you lagging on the episodes, I'm about to finish.
See,
Game of Thrones gonna be watched before you done. Like,
wow.
No, but you can't be watching the show and then because you got insomnia. I'm just gonna keep watching. Like, that's your bonding time with your girl. You better watch a different show.
No, but the thing is, like, Netflix be having some dry seasons, so it's just like
go watch something else. But if that's your bonding time and that's something that.
But what if they lag and what if they like work or whatever the case may be? Like they like 2-3 episodes behind. You gonna wait? And episodes be like an hour long. Hell no. Hell no. I'm watching that motherfucker. Cause now I can't even be in a conversation with everybody.
Okay, well, first of all, Netflix is old stuff, so you can hold on.
I'm not messing with this dude no more, man. Listen, this dude, every time he got some wild shit to say,
I'm like, hey, you gotta watch this.
I'm trying to keep up with what the world is talking about.
Netflix is old,
I'm like,
so
now you can't even,
to.
because it's like the whole thing about the experience of watching something. Man. Now you can go to work or whatever, and you have like you see new episode of Power, blah blah blah. That nigga Tommy shot the whole thing, blah 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 blah.
Talking about okay, if it's
like now you can't even talk.
If it's updated on a regular, you at your own risk. But Netflix is old, so you can be able to hold on. Hulu's a different story, okay. I'm just saying that people will come in and be mad and have to talk about it.
No, I didn't know that was a thing. I'm like,
I just put you on game.
Let me explain something. It's a thing.
I'll put you on game. It's a thing.
Right?
Maybe I'm just an asshole. I'm like, hey.
That is 100% factual.
Hey, you just gotta catch up by yourself.
But no, small.
You on episode 3? I just finished up.
It's small things. It's small things. Like I play basketball, right? Yeah. Straight weekend warrior, 32. I feel every bit of when I fall, when I run and all that, right?
He be playing like,
but I play in very real competitive leagues, you know what I mean?
But I'll be looking at him like, nigga, we are not 20.
But you know what? The competitiveness,
my lower back hurt right now.
The competitiveness is there. The leagues that we play in is very competitive. Guys like have names. Guys are going off to college, play professional, everything, and I love it, right? But one thing that I have learned because I'm very observant is that if I go to have a game, right, and I don't bring my girl with me, I know she has a problem with it.
Right? Yeah. She wants to be involved.
Yeah.
That's
she may not can dribble the ball, but she wants to be there.
No, and she'll tell you, I don't like sports. But when you play, I'm there. So if I was to be like, hey, if I was to be like, I'm just going up there without you, it's going to be a problem. You understand?
All you gotta do is invite.
Yeah.
She says no, it's a no. If it's a yes, it's a yes.
But the thing is, like, if you don't even like sports, like, no, you gotta stay at home.
Well, you have to understand.
It's support and
I get the support.
Time.
Because you could come through, but I'm like, then now I want to build. I want to build with the boys after, like, go get some beer for celebrate.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Listen, man. Some women, they don't care about sports, but if you do it, they'll learn it.
No, I get it. No, I get it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, a couple games on, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, damn, you gonna be mad at me because I didn't tell you this.
You don't understand that.
When they about you, they about you. Yeah. So they want to be involved. They want to support. Yeah. They don't even know what position you play, and that's fine. They just want to be in the same room.
So you quarterback?
My girl was like, you're throwing balls at the bucket. You're throwing balls at the bucket. And I was like, it's getting buckets. It's not throwing the ball.
Well, babe, so did you get interception?
Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get interception in this game?
Yeah. You can't say that's not flattering.
It is.
No. I respect it.
I love it. You don't understand. I love it.
Just because she go don't mean she gotta leave with him. She just there.
I'm just I don't know. I'm the type of I'd be like space type shit like. Certain things is dedicated to that. Certain things is dedicated.
But that's what depends on how much time y'all spending together. If you busy and that's one of the times they can catch you.
That's true.
You gotta get it in where you can.
That's true.
I'll put it to you like this. I feel like I'm the type of dude that my girl can have all week long, right? But I told her Sundays, that's like my day. Mm-hmm. Don't bother me because that's gonna be football, Laker games, me playing basketball, right? But the thing about my girl is that she wants to be a part of all of that. Mm-hmm. She'll sit next to me and she'll be on her phone, not even watch the basketball game. She don't know what's going on.
She just like being around you.
You understand what I'm saying? And so as I've gotten older, I realized like if she's just an arm's distance, that's good enough. So when I go to the game, I don't even have to be with my girl. I could be with the guys bonding, talking crazy, this and the third. Just her being in the gym is good enough for her.
Mm-hmm.
That saves you.
She really attached.
This nigga crazy. He's like, I don't want to see you. This dude is wild, man. Rewind it. Go back a few seconds ago and watch this man's face. He like, hell no. I ain't doing nothing.
I'm trying to digest it, and I'm like,
hell. He said, I ain't messing with it.
I'm like, I get it, and it's like, and it's commendable. It's like. Cause that shows you how much she holds you down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause some people they ain't trying to be around you.
Too. You should be able to do, you know,
but
space.
that's just because I know with me, like I've been growing up, I was real more so introverted, and it's like I like distance and shit like that. So it's like that's something I had to work on myself as far as just not keeping people too far away. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's real easy to just do everything by yourself. It feels
I'm used to that. I'm so used to being just
that's why
a lone wolf.
Isolation and depression go together like, you know, red beans and rice.
I don't like people like that. I like people, but I don't like people. It's like,
no, I'm for sure a people person that don't like people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that makes sense.
For sure.
It does.
But it's like I gotta be. Number one is like you gotta be my type of person, and number two, if I'm just gonna be in a crowd of people, it's like I have to be in that mood to be dealing with that. You know what I mean? I'm like, man.
No, I agree. Cause
your partner can be smothering though. They can.
No, I'm not even talking about partner. I'm just saying
in general, people can be smothering.
Oh yeah, true.
And you gotta let them know, like, I think what you're doing is great. Like, okay, you can have you all week, but Sunday, like, I just.
That's how I feel. If I could get Sundays to myself,
and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I'm happy.
That's one day out of 7. That's not bad.
I need at least 4 days. I'm about to get in trouble.
Yup, you are.
I hope you get in trouble too. I hope you do. He got of control.
There's gonna be a conversation later on.
Yeah.
Man, but this was a good conversation.
Great
a lot of information that was thrown out.
Hopefully you can come back.
Of course.
This is Patrice. Where can they find you at?
Instagram, you can find me the Patrice Nicole. Twitter, Patrice and Douglas. Facebook, Patrice and Douglas.
Make sure y'all go follow.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow our page, DSTM Podcast, on IG. We need to fuck around and make a Facebook. It'd be so much like trying to keep up with everything, man. Just go to the IG.
Go to the IG for now.
Subscribe to the YouTube so you can stay up to date with what's going on with us. We're working on Spotify as well. We're still working on some stuff in the process as far as merchandise and things of that nature. And we're just building slowly but surely. By in 2020, you're going to see the growth. It's just a slow build. You can't expect the flower to grow overnight.
I mean, we for sure have. I know with me with school, that keeps me from having the freedom that I want. My time is limited. My sleep is limited. So I'm not. You're gonna see the growth. Trust me.
You're gonna see the growth.
You're gonna see it.
Because next year I plan on doing some things as far as just. Because I'm more so like the media person and
he is, because I don't
fix the content and
none
shit.
Of that.
But I'm leaning to making the experience with us more creative and just more content just to throw out there.
And tap in if you got an expertise on any of the topics that we talk about.
Yeah,
tap in.
Hit the comments. Give us your opinion, your feedback, what you think about relationships.
How do y'all feel about this man's perspective on relationships?
I ain't even say
you think that you ain't gotta say much to get in trouble. But y'all let us know how you feel about this man.
So should your girl give you that time to be with your boys, or is it okay she being armed? Like, what y'all think? Like, should you be at the games or?
Yeah.
But just give us your feedback. Drop in the comments. Share. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah.
And this is another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
Bang, 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 bang.
Till next time.